Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. Entertainment only. Yeah, that was one heck of a confusing video. Hopefully this one will go a little bit easier. Okay, what I want to have a look at is there's been a report that's come out. I know this is oldish news, but it's starting to resurface from Alna Masayayo, and I'm sure I've pronounced that absolutely incorrectly. The former head of the Kazakhstan National Security Commission. So Kazakhstan used to be part of the USSR back in the day. It's a lot of the stans were all part of the bigger USSR, and then when what do you call it? It all fell apart. The stans became their own independent countries. So former national security head of the National Security Commission of what is now known as Kazakhstan has come out and said that Russia has an extensive kompromat, with a K, kompromat, Russian word, file on the Orange Twerp, including financial records of illicit transactions, so trafficking, etc., money laundering, etc., as well as recordings, both audio and video, of sexual crimes. That's me trying to avoid the censors of particular intimate crimes. And what he's coming out and saying is the FSB, which used to be the KGB, the FSB, remembering that the Putin figure, who I haven't been able to pick up for about 18 months, and intelligence agencies around the world say that they've spotted numerous body doubles. I know some of them have picked up at least 8 body doubles. The one in China, I think, was the same double that went to Alaska. He's got the smile, well, citing the fact that Putin never used to smile. The smile is wrong. The jawline is wrong. It's not square enough. It's more angular. Looks a lot younger than 70 something, although I know people can have work, but you know, this looks a lot younger and is very chummy. Putin was never, ever chummy, and he has a germ phobia. He would never shake hands with people he didn't know intimately. He would never be in close contact with people. So anyhow, signs from that. FSB, apparently. This is according to Alna. I'll call him Alna because I'm sure I've butchered his last name. Apparently leaked fragments of these kompromat files to exert pressure on the Orange Twerp to undermine NATO and the EU and the US. And a few of you say, well, why would Russia want to leak this information? Well, I think because they know that, you know, there's nothing more to gain from the Orange Twerp puppet. They have what they want from him, and that is chaos. The NATO alliance, you know, the US and the NATO alliance is pretty much dead in the water at the moment. Basically, why would they leak more? Because they just want chaos. Because if it's proven that the US election was rigged and stolen, imagine what that would do to the minds of the people in the US who do not know this yet. And the US standing on the world stage, that the fact that this could happen. So let me put it out there. So he's come out and said the FSB leaked fragments to exert pressure on the Orange Twerp to undermine NATO and the EU. And whenever the Orange Twerp hesitates or veers off what the Kremlin wants them to do, more leaks occur. Okay, now he's also pointed out that 45 and those who are working with him behind the scenes, looking at you Miller, looking at you Musk, looking at, you know, all those have worked systematically to prevent investigations being done into this. Because, I mean, look, the day, what was it, November the 6th? The FSB came out and said, now you owe us. You know, we got you where you were, now you owe us. I mean, it's not like they kept it secret. Systematically to prevent investigation via, so basically compromised the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, and the Immigration Department, because this also has to do with the Immigration Department and also Treasury, which has the money tracing, etc. So where on earth do I start and what deck do I use? I'm going to use just the basic Smith-Waite Tarot deck. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Right. So, Alma Maseo, former National Security Commission head of Kazakhstan, has come out. Yep, there are things they want kept hidden. Has come out again and said that Russia has extensive compromat. Now, remember when the Orange Twerp was in Saudi Arabia and the Italian, not Italian, but the New York property developer guy who works for the Saudis, I believe now, but also has quite close ties with Russia, gave in full public view the Orange Twerp a couple of pieces of paper that we didn't see much, but from a particular angle it looked like they were photograph stills from a video. MBS and the Italian dude and somebody else who was there were laughing their heads off, and the Orange Twerp looked absolutely mortified before he shoved them in his pocket. So don't forget all these things that have been coming out, and we get distracted because there is so much else going on. Let's have a look. Now, you also got to remember that in Alaska, there was that closed meeting, which we don't know what went on in there. There was the Putin figure there. Apparently, KKK Levitt and a couple of other, was it Rubio, came out looking absolutely horrified. And the Orange Twerp came out looking like a whipped dog, as he did from Helsinki years ago as well. Stuff. So show me, what do we need to know with this newest report? Because, yeah, they have some serious compromat on them. Absolutely. The devil card just flung itself out. They have serious compromat. Now, I haven't finished watching, I was watching Laurie from The Way of Positive Change, her live from overnight. And she asked, this is as far as I got, whether it was election interference stuff or whether it was Epps stuff. I think I read the other day it was election interference stuff that they were going to release. And I'm just looking at these cards here. Come on down. Looking at these cards on the bottom. The wheel, the relationships, something moving forward, military perhaps action, an announcement coming out of the White House. It could be financial entrapment of some sort. The whistleblower, the magician. Oh, and the world is upside down. The fool, the world upside down, and the judgment card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 major arcana. And I'll pop that world card back up the right way. If I go to the top here, you've got the Hermit and you've got the face plant and you've got Russia. They have absolutely, his world is upside down. They absolutely have compromat on him. So are they going to release it? You've got the unexpected out of left field and big information coming forward. So let's have a look. Okay, I'm just going to ask really quickly. I'm going to ask again in this reading. Was the live that was broadcast, I think it was broadcast by Fox, and we know what Fox are like, even though it's a Murdoch media, was the live alive? Smoke and mirrors, because the truth is just too burdensome. Wow. Actions having consequences, and the death card. Or divine justice in the death card. Now, I'm not saying he's dead. I'm not getting that he's dead. I think he had a fluid drain happening. As I had said, I had a family member that had, due to liver cancer, had to get their abdomen drained regularly, but it was more and more often, and it was a downward cycle, and it was just a keeping them going situation. It wasn't a cure. Manipulation. Okay, right. Let's have a look. There's extensive Russian compromat, financial records, illicit transactions. Now, remembering also that Eric came out, when was it, 2014, and said we don't need the banks, we've got the Russians. He then went on to deny that he said that. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a look. What are the Russians going to leak? What is it that the Russians are going to put out there? I keep getting that it's the election fraud, because the election fraud is more undermining of the United States than the Epstein stuff. Let's have a look. Well, there's that justice card again. Divine justice, actions having consequences. The lovers, contracts, agreements, challenged by the lovers card. I mean, it could be, I was going to say the Epstein stuff, but the Epstein stuff wasn't about lovers. It was about abuse. It was about RAPE. It was about bidding off somebody's virginity. It was, okay, challenged by the contracts and agreements. Nightmare situation, absolutely, that they're bringing forward. Legal nightmare. In the past, we got the King of Swords, the strategy being brought forward, action being taken, and the Knight of Pentacles, the presentation. Now, for me, when I'm asking about votes, Pentacles mean the votes. Okay, that knight's not moving forward though in this particular deck. He's just sitting there presenting it, showing that he's got it. Oh boy. Immediate future, some sort of minor announcement being made. Again, this could be one of those leaks about the victory, the false victory. Internally, keeping a lid. There's a lot more to come, but keeping a lid on what is known. Betrayal, heartbreak, treason, despair, loss. The outcome, and there it is being offered up. The information, going to have the regime on its back foot, wild-eyed, caught out unexpected. Queen of Pentacles, looking closer at the votes, looking at the smoke mirrors, wool over the eyes, and then you've got the Ten of Wands. What comes out is just going to be too burdensome, and then you've got the Ten of Pentacles, end of a legacy, and might see some serious arrests there as everything is revealed. And I'm getting they have both lots of information. Seeing what's on the bottom here. Back up against the wall, a judgment moment about what happened in the past, the lies being revealed. You've got the leak here, the emotional overwhelming, the cleansing of government, the Tower and the Steel. And there will be a paper trail in regards to this. We've got the infighting. Oh, it just keeps going. Yeah, it's election stuff. It's election stuff that Russia are going to leak, is what I keep getting. Because that is what will undermine the US more than the Epstein stuff. Okay, what I might do is I might then slip straight into what I would next wanted to read on, which is Rockland County. Apparently the 29th of August, which was a few days ago, a week ago, was the smart elections. They're the ones that have bought the case. In case I didn't say it already, entertainment only. Smart Elections brought the case to the New York Supreme Court. Was it the Supreme Court? Anyhow, the Supreme Court made the ruling on this. In Rockland County, and we all know about what's going on in Rockland County, in that you've got a number of voters that made statutory declarations that they voted for Harris. However, in their particular district, at their particular polling station, no votes for Harris were registered. Now, that's not to say Harris would have won that particular county. No, she wouldn't have. But the fact that there are votes that are missing. There are also a number of votes where it's sort of Democrat right down the ballot, but apparently for the orange twerp at the top, which usually doesn't happen. Usually, about 1% would have that sort of difference, and apparently it's up over 10%. That has that particular difference between who's at the top and therefore then down. So statistically, it's inaccurate. So what's happened is apparently the Rockland County Board of Electors, because their reputation's on the line, tried to get the court case dismissed. And that was what was heard on the 29th of the 8th. Motion to dismiss the case. Now, Judge Rachel Tanguay, and I apologise if I've pronounced that wrong as well, New York Supreme Court judge, because this is a state case, has overruled that motion to dismiss. So what I believe is happening is they have moved into the discovery stage, which is when the information is presented to the court to see whether it's admissible or not, and both sides get to see the information that the other side has. So the next court case we're looking at is going to be on the 11th of November. Now we go, oh my goodness, that's ages away. It can happen sooner. The judge is being considered. Okay, so what's happened is let's get it right. Both sides have presented, and Judge Rachel Tanguay is going to rule on the motion to dismiss by the 11th of November. Sorry, let me get that right. So it's not, she hasn't ruled on it. Back up. She hasn't ruled on it. She's got up until the November the 11th to rule on whether to dismiss the case. So let's have a look. Is the motion to dismiss? So what's happening is the discovery is being presented to the judge to back up allegations. Okay, so what is happening there? Oh, goodness me, the legal system grind so slowly. Surely the information could be presented and a ruling being done in a week. Like, really? Seriously? But let's have a look. The ruling to motion to dismiss in Rockland County. Will the judge, I'm just going to ask, will Judge Rachel Tanquay, New York Supreme Court judge, I don't know what her affiliation is, I haven't looked it up, and really it should not matter. Is she going to, what's going to be her ruling on this? The discovery information, I believe, is going to be presented for her to consider as to whether there's to dismiss the case or not. How's she going to rule on this? How's this going to go? I get the feeling the ruling's going to come down a lot quicker, but let's have a look. Okay. Who's going to have the tower? A sudden implosion, a sudden destruction. The crown gets thrown off. Something happening really quickly. How's she going to rule on it? She's considering the information, the vote information, really, she's really considering it, looking at it really closely. I think she's going to rule on it a lot quicker than November. Okay, because it's important. This is so important. The energy that she's stewing in at the moment is the presentation of the vote information, the presentation of the documentation. Bindi, boo-boo, boo-boo. She'll be down the beach chasing a stick, that one. Yeah, the information has been presented. And that's the energy she's stewing in, and she is considering it. In the past, we had the whistleblowers come forward. Absolutely, we had the whistleblowers come forward. These were people who signed statutory declarations declaring that they voted for Harris. They put their paperwork in the machine, and yet no votes were registered. Yeah, so that's in the past. Right, we've got the Hermit. Again, shining a light on the investigation, shining a light on the path forward, going forward with this. The immediate future. Paranoia about the votes, trying to keep it hidden. I don't feel this is her. I feel this is the Rockland County Board of Electors. Don't want this information coming out. The immediate future. They might make a media announcement. Let's see where this goes. Externally. Smart Elections have got everything lined up. So this is paranoia about the votes. I think Smart Elections have got the information internally, and the truth of it is going to bring, it's big. It's big with that Ten of Swords. Hopes and fears. A ruling that will come forward. Can also be about the government. Let's see where it goes. The legacy, bringing an end to bringing an end to this. I mean, it's also oligarchical money, and should really do Tanquay. I should really do some research into her, but I don't know that she'll be able to be paid off. I think this is bringing an end to this emotionally overwhelming, a cleansing, some sort of an announcement coming from the White House that people are walking away from because the message is just too burdensome, too heavy about the steal and the betrayal and the deceit, and the wheel is turning. This is about votes that were rejected, cast aside, having a real intense legal consideration, but I think she's going to come forward with her ruling a lot quicker than the 11th of November. I'm going to have a look at this I'm just going to do the two sides and see which side comes out, because a lot of information going to come out quickly about this. I think she's going to make her ruling a lot sooner. She's very possibly consulting with other experts in the field in regards to this. Okay, how is Judge Rachel Tanquay going to rule? Okay, show me on behalf of the Rockland County Board of Electors. How's she going to rule on behalf of the Rockland County Board of Electors? I don't know when the Russian stuff is going to come out. Watch for snippets, especially if the regime seems to be leaning towards supporting Ukraine. Show me. Oh, secrets being revealed. I'm just looking at these flipped over cards. You've got the military, you've got some sort of ruling here. Secrets revealed. I'll pop those back. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune turning on the bottom. How's she going to rule for the Board of Electors? Secrets revealed. Oh, 2 tens. The election legacy, the voters, Russia, Ace of Cups, treason, betrayal, and the infighting. They're not going to like what is revealed. So that's the Board of Electors. I think the Board of Electors might be in some trouble. Right, so I'll put those back randomly. Do you feel she'll make a ruling sooner than the 11th of November? How is Judge Rachel Tanquay, New York Supreme Court, going to rule in regards to whistleblowers again, in regards to sort of truth being brought forward, smart elections? How's she going in regards to this motion to dismiss? How's she going to rule in regards to smart elections? Right. Truth about the abuse of power, the betrayal, the deceit, the steal, and the legal downfall. Walking away in a tower moment. Well, this isn't clarifying it for me, cards. Blowing the top off. I think because this card came out first. We've got the eclipse here. We are in eclipse season. Lunar eclipse is coming up late this weekend, Sunday for the US, Monday for me. It's just going to blow the top off everything. Surprising information coming forward, moving quickly. We've got the Chariot, we've got secrets revealed and information being brought forward about the vote. Those two cards, Strength, announcement from the White House, volatile information coming out, working behind the scenes, but some big legal announcement. She's going to make a ruling that's going to bring about a cleansing. The Fool, a new start, a lot of information coming out very quickly. Okay. I think she's going to rule in favour of smart elections, and I think it's going to come out a lot sooner than the 11th of November. Grab me yes, no cards again. I know I could use pendulum, but yes and yes. My question I was asking myself, is she going to rule in favour of smart elections? Is she going to rule in favour of smart elections? Is she going to rule in favour of smart elections? No. Okay, that one just fell out. Yes, no. Let's keep shuffling. Don't think it was ready. I think that might have just been lazy shuffling. Is she going to rule in favour of smart elections? Is she going to rule in favour of smart elections? Yes. Yes, yes. What's on the top? Oh, there's a couple of no's. Yes and yes. Okay, just to clarify, is she going to rule in favour of the Rockland County Board of Electors who are trying to get this case dismissed? Is she going to rule in favour of the Rockland County Board of Electors? Yes and yes. Why? Why am I getting these yeses on both sides? There's something more here. Okay, well, let's see if we can nut it out. Why am I getting that she's going to rule yes to both sides? Why am I getting that she's going to rule some will be permissible, some won't, right? It's a motion to dismiss. Why am I getting, okay, I just heard new case. Is she going to advise smart elections to bring a different case? Can she advise? I don't know. There's something here where I heard new case, clearly heard new case. Right. There's a rejection of some sort. But again, we've got that Ace of Cups on the bottom there. So there's a rejection of the current. I think she's going to rule really quickly, but there's a rejection of something here. The Knight of Pentacles, challenged by the information that is brought forward about the vote. Stalled, something stalled about the vote. The ruling's going to come forward really quickly. In the past, it's about the votes that were rejected. Two of Swords at the top. So now I know the people from Smart Elections are really, really, really good at what they do. They are legal, but there's something here that I'm just getting it sort of like, no, go away and have another go. And then the Queen of Swords in the immediate future. Change your strategy. Knight of Wands, externally, volatile information coming forward. Disappointment and loss, understandably. But Two Cups still standing. There's rejection of something here. Temperance, rebalancing, recreating, getting rid of the emotional toxicity, and then a new journey. Lots of information coming out really quickly, and then the cups are all lined up. So there's something here in the information that's being presented that is not right. And then we've got the voters. And then we have justice. So there's something more here. Do not be surprised. We've got the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Hanged Man, the False Victory, the manipulation, but then we've got the investigation, walking away, emotionally walking away, but then, because this person here's got the justice scales here, something new that is presented that reveals. Okay, do not be surprised, and again, forewarned is forearmed, entertainment only. Do not be surprised if there is a really quick ruling by Judge Tanquay that is disappointing, that feels like, what? But it's almost like there's something that is in the evidence that is provided that is not right, and therefore wouldn't hold up in a court of law. So she's basically sending them away to say, try again. Does that make sense? Not rejecting the case as such, because there is a case there, but there's something in the information that is being presented by Smart Elections that is either incomplete or not quite lined up. I'm just getting new case. I'm getting new case. There's something that's not quite right about the information that's being presented, and it's almost like, yes, she does dismiss it, but with advice to say, fix this and bring it back again. Something along those lines. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Love to you all. Take care.